the legendary Hazley Crawford Stadium. That's the place where both Central FC and Deportivo Arabe Unido will debut in this 2017 Concacaf League as they look to advance to the next round. Of course, all vying for a spot in the Champions League. That'll be played, of course, later on in this calendar football year I'm talking about. It'll be in February of 2018 that tournament will begin. But these two taking the respective first steps, and they could be some slippery first steps. Of course, the rain starting to come down here in Port of Spain as both the best of the Caribbean facing one of the best in Central America. Central FC with Dale Saunders looking to at least reflect what they were able to do domestically last season. This season's been a bit of a struggle for Central FC as they've gotten out to a bit of a rocky start, have had some trouble scoring goals, but they're looking for tonight to be that turnaround early in the season in the TT Pro League in Trinidad and Tobago. So we're waiting to see what happens on that end. Meanwhile, for Deportivo Arabe Unido, it's a way to continue to try and erase the heartbreak of the final that they lost at the death against Tauro over at the Rommel Fernandez just maybe scarcely 2.5 months ago, as both teams getting ready to come onto the pitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Central FC and Deportivo Arabe Unido.
So as you see, both teams, as they get the message as far as being able to start in a proper manner, getting the right foot in the right direction. As you see the refereeing crew there, an all Honduran refereeing crew, as Árabe Unido as well as Central FC know that this is a very important first step. Remember the format in this tournament, it's home and away, and the winner advances to the next round. So no group stage, as you see right there, how the Panamanians are getting ready. We'll give you the lineups just shortly. A couple of changes of note for Árabe Unido, a couple of changes as well for Central FC. But it'll be interesting to break down what Árabe Unido has been able to do, because what they've been able to show from a tactical standpoint has been changed a little bit. They usually go with a 4-2-3-1. Today going more 4-4-2, as you'll get to see that a little bit more as you see the two captains, Sean Da Silva, the Trinidad international, and then on the other end, Abdiel Macea, getting the nod from, as they call him, Jeringa, needle, Sergio Guzman right there. And of course, we'll find out shortly how both starting 11 will come out as the pre-match protocol coming to a close, as these two teams, of course, they participated last year in the Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League. So right now we're going to check out the lineups, as you see right there for Central FC. Of course, the most noticeable, you see Stefan Sipersad in goal. Jason Marcano, Nathaniel Garcia will be very important for the continuing pressure that needs to be put on Árabe Unido up top. Of course, De Silva, that metronome in the middle. He's that turret just trying to distribute and open play up for this side. Joan Peltier as well as Jules Lee will be important, but in the back, of course, the only player that's been able to score for Central FC has been Kadian Gabriel, the central defender, and that's been one of the big problems, as you see right there, Dale Saunders. And somewhere around there, you'll start seeing former Trinidad international Brent Sancho. I want to give him a major shout out, a good friend, former Trinidad and Tobago international, part of that 2006 World Cup team, as was Dale Saunders, of course. Many of the, and one of the assistants, of course, many familiar with him in the United States, none other than Stern John. Here's the starting lineup for Árabe Unido. No Josimar Gomez, he will take a break tonight. He is on the bench. No Alejandro Hincapié, but then you start looking at a bit of a formation change with Nelson Barahona playing a little bit further out. He's usually their number 10 in the middle, but up top it'll be Renan Adels and Carlos Small getting the start for Sergio Guzman. So we're just moments away from kickoff as Hector Said, right there, Mr. Hector Said Martinez getting ready, waiting for the match coordinator to give the indication, and we are underway as Árabe Unido in their alternate kits, or in the white, going to the left from the right, and Central FC in the all-black kit, currently with possession. Again, the key for the Trinidadian champs, Nathaniel Garcia, of course, one player that's being looked at quite closely by a couple of teams in Europe, is that man right there, Michael Jem Gordon, will be patrolling on the left side. So it'll be interesting to see some of the movements from both teams. Árabe Unido is looking to play the ball out of the back most of the time, but if you start to see a bit more pressure being applied by Central, then you start to see deeper balls, skipping lines and looking to take it as quickly as possible up to the forwards. And that could be an advantage for Central FC, because you start looking at players like Carlos Small and Renan Adels. They're not the most gifted as far as size, as far as being able to match up against bigger defenders when the ball is coming at them. Lloyd. Cristian Valencia, the Colombian, one of the new additions to this Árabe Unido side. Small, as he's being harassed by two players coming through the cross into the middle to no one. Finally, Da Silva wants to get it out of his own half of the pitch, but the press in the middle again by Valencia. As it goes right into the hands of Stefan Sipersad. Gaston George and Kadian Gabriel both in the middle. They'll be anchoring that Central FC back line. Michael Jem Gordon also, he tends to push up a bit more. And one of the keys for Central FC, and you see right there the opportunity as Small's not able to track it down, cleared away by Sipersad. Those types of mistakes, trying to avoid those as much as possible. It was one of the things that was mentioned by Dale Saunders before the match, trying to have more tactical consistency. Barahona. No one really controlling the ball, just being knocked up in the air as Da Silva wins that ball in the air. And the foul being committed by Renan Adels on the Trinidadian international. One of two players for this Central FC side to be part of the Soca Warriors. Is he coming from behind? No question about that one. Da Silva as well as Nathaniel Garcia, both on tour with Trinidad during this summer. Ball one back in the middle. That's Jason Marcano. Interesting story about Marcano. I'll mention it just after this attack that's starting to build up. Is Árabe Unido looking for spots. A handball is not called. Dropping back all the way is Ortiz. Da Silva turns, has the foul committed on him by Leslie Heraldes. Slow moving early minutes here at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. Both teams looking to feel each other out. See right there, Da Silva. He did have an option, but way too close, as the spacing between him and Nathaniel Garcia not the best to try and have a 1-2 as Garcia again with the ball in the middle. Garcia looking, the ball comes through and deflected at the last possible minute there by none other than Daniel Ortiz. Trying to take it out quick, and Central very well organized in their back line as of right now. Of course, that's where that ball's gonna look to go, either when Marcano moves into the middle or when you start to see Nathaniel Garcia drop back more into that number 10 slot, if you will. As Árabe Unido with the break now. Adels over to Nelson Barahona, who switches sides, and he does exactly that to take it to the opposite direction. Looking to create opportunity here. Comes through, the header just got under it too much. Did Carlos Small, and an opportunity that's wasted in a very potentially dangerous situation that Central FC are able to avoid in just 6 minutes in. And you're starting to see a bit more looseness as far as play from Árabe Unido, being able to make the transitions a little bit quicker. That's what this game's about. The team that recovers and transitions a lot better, a lot quicker, that's the one that's going to have the upper hand. One again in the middle there by none other than Keaton Gabriel. Macea controlling and eventually gives the ball over to Jose Gonzalez. Not sure what he was looking to do there on the shot, but then it gets very misdirected and gives the ball right back as Roberto Chen giving some indications. Marcano waiting for that ball, but it didn't get to him as Jules Lee patrolling the middle. Now he's running over in the direction of Ortiz. Barahona. There's a lot of shifting going on with Central FC. They're looking to pressure and trying to create some disruption as far as the angles are concerned when Árabe Unido have the ball. Sliding effort, but good job by Sipersad to clear it away. Is Da Silva able to control it, but again, another mistake by Central. Looking to take a shot from outside, but harmless roller right to Sipersad as Abdiel Macea. A lot of deep balls, and again, this time it's Marcano that's not able to get to it. Anticipated nicely by the Panamanian international Roberto Chen, who decides to go on the attack, and you can find a lot of opportunities here if you're Central if you start to go deep. But dropping back ever so quickly. As you saw right there, Angel Patrick, another Panamanian international. He was part of the Central American Cup squad that ended up in 3rd place. The ball scurries through. Of course, it's going to be a faster pitch here at the Hazley Crawford. Sipersad got rushed a little bit, and good effort, good way of being able to cover it there by Gabriel. Gabriel again dropping back, and Start to see Tariq Sampson also get involved in that whole series of play. Keston George. And now Tariq John with the throw-in. Michael Jim Gordon, Marcano. Again, Marcano just breaking through, tall, lanky, but very strong. Able to break through that Panamanian line and continuing that play, and the foul being called on Marcano, and he's getting a warning. Fell a little bit awkwardly on the play, and Marcano understands. It was interesting that he mentions in an interview back when he was a kid, you see right there, just running into him. He didn't see the player coming. He was looking at the ball. Hip checks him to the ground. Marcano was talking about how his principal at his elementary school, his primary school back in Trinidad when he was getting started, was the one that saw the amount of talent that he had. Saw him in the street one day and said, "Kid, you got to go to school and be able to get your education, but also you have a great deal of talent." And that was at the point that he decided to start, committing to football and being more active and being able to practice as well as study. And that's where he made a huge difference in his play. Eventually was a Trinidadian international. As speaking of which, right there, Central FC being able to clear that danger as the Panamanian runners-up in last semester, putting a lot of pressure here on Central FC. See right there, just coming up, and this time it's Marcano that almost gets the contact, but he's able to somehow turn, and that defender just goes right by him. And those types of balls right there, when they're dropped back and put into space, and you put those balls up and they become 50-50s when the pressure's being applied, that's a big problem. Sampson, as he drops it back to C. Prasad. And Central just looking more for the deep ball, looking to settle things in the middle. That's Garcia. And on the near side, you start to see some of the play that's being developed. And it was Jules Lee not able to get to it. And now Árabe Unido chased, but a little bit too far out wide as it goes over and cleared away very nicely there by Gabriel. Here's another chance as Árabe Unido looked like offside. No, but it's not. Small looking to bring it in, and two defenders. There will be a corner kick for Deportivo Arabe Unido as we're 12 minutes in. No score from Port of Spain, but the Panamanians looking to draw first blood. As you see right there, the give and go, the quick ball movement that's been very typical of Panamanian football in the past decade. You start to see the players that have very good technical skills. They've become very adept at playing with very reduced spaces. As a corner kick coming up. Renan Adlis plays it short. Another chance as it goes over to Gonzalez. Trying to heel flick it on target. Missed by quite a bit. As it was Roberto Chen just looking to get a body part on it to see if he can just keep it alive. Did, but really to no avail. The team that's been able to control the ball, at least in the early minutes, if you start looking at it now, 13 minutes in, the teams that have been able to, both teams have been very effective when they put the ball on the ground. That's pretty much what the early synthesis of this match can really lead you to see. When Central has been able to put the ball on the ground and look to attack, they've been able to find players. They haven't been able to have the continuity that Dale Saunders would like them to have. Again, it's a fairly younger side. And of course, they do have some players of experience filling in some of those gaps. But for the most part, it's been a team that has been able to understand. Of course, veteran right there, one of them is Jason Marcano, that has been able to fulfill one of those leadership roles within this squad. So when they bring the ball down, they can get very effective. And Árabe Unido, when they've been able to bring the ball down, it's been usually more in a transition phase type of football where they're able to get the ball, make 1 or 2 touches, keep it on the ground, go forward, and go on the attack. And again, those back passes for Central have been quite dangerous in the early stages of this match. Looking again deep, maybe too deep. And that's part of the tactical part that Saunders, as well as Brent Sancho and Stern John, want to have this team have. Be able to calm down a little bit, not just send the ball deep for the sake of sending it deep, but looking to try and maintain the ball, try and control the ball a little bit more, as you see the collision there with Sean Da Silva. Still continuous downpour as Roberto Chen blasted deep and far and wide, and see what happens, and that's exactly the end product. Again, looking to pressure right there is Carlos Small, but it goes right back to Sampson. Here's Marcano, has a man wide open on the left side. Instead goes into the middle. Here's a good chance. Oh, poor touch there by Johan Peltier, not being able to get a good chance. But the option was down the left side for Central. The option was right there down the left, because if Marcano's able to lay it off to his left side, he had a player that was running in. And if you see it on the replay next time we have it, you'll get to see the entire panoramic view of where that ball should have gone instead of where it went. So a wasted opportunity there by Central FC in the first 15, 16 minutes of this match. Got to take advantage fully. Both teams have had their weaknesses so far, as it's Tariq Sampson. Nathaniel Garcia playing a little bit deeper than usual, as he drops back, wants to be that man in space. Da Silva looking for some accompaniment. That's what Garcia's giving him, as Da Silva is able to go and do exactly that. Pressure, force the mistake, or force the ball to drop back, as it goes all the way back to Miguel Lloyd. Again, Árabe Unido pressing. Those 4 players in the midfield have been very important as Nelson Barahona joins in. Barahona playing over on the left. So it's interesting to see that move, as he and Gonzalez have switched sides. Originally it was Barahona playing on the far side, so we'll see what he's able to do. And it was interesting to hear, and you see right there, Coach Heringa Guzman was talking about how Nelson Barahona, ever since he's come back to Panama, remember he played most of his career just across the border in Colombia, and became one of the emblematic Panamanian players of that pretty much the past decade, if you will, while playing in Colombia. And right there, just getting rid of it, just to keep it away from his feet. Leslie Heraldes. Lots of room in the middle. Sampson. Marcano, as well as right there, number 24, Jules Lee, not being able to control it. Here's again the chance to shot from outside, as it was Barahona first timing it, curling it, but curled it right at Sipersad. Barahona, as I mentioned before, was very instrumental, was a very influential player from a Panamanian perspective as to what could be done in Colombian football. He, alongside Blas Perez, those first players, those first pioneers in Colombian football to come from Panama. Of course, that was the country where Blas Perez really got his first big start on the international scene. Currently now with Municipal in Guatemala after coming over from Bolivar in Bolivia. The former FC Dallas and former Vancouver Whitecaps player. Wow, there's a lot of teams that he's been on. Wow, just now thinking about that is a foul committed there by Daniel Ortiz. Very disorganized at times, lacking clarity. Árabe Unido at times, and not looking and maybe getting a little, not, I guess gun shy is not the word, just maybe getting a little bit too wide-eyed. Central, a chance to shot to say, oh, what a tremendous header, and 1-0 for Central FC. That's right there, Johan Peltier putting it in. What a shot, what a header. Great execution, and that was their bread and butter, ladies and gentlemen. What a way to get out of a goal-scoring funk collectively. Central FC found the space, they found the mistake, and took full advantage.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Goal for Central FC scored by number 10, Johan Peltier, in the 20th minute.
Peltier with the first goal of the tournament for him, and that's at the 20th minute of play. And you can see how this breaks down. You see where the problem was in the mark. You see where you can't do that when you're Daniel Ortiz. He committed the foul that set this play, at least to start it, and you start to see where the major issue was there is Ortiz was dropping back, he wasn't marking, he gave way too much space, and he gave just the perfect angle. Not much that could be done there by Miguel Lloyd, as the ball crossed in perfectly to Johan Peltier, who switched post. And that was a great example of what needs to be done quickly off a set piece. When you have a foul committed against you, try and look up, try and see how you can get as direct as possible, especially if the defense is napping, which was the case there for Árabe Unido. As you hear Sergio Guzman saying, come on, we need more work from the midfielders. As Sean Da Silva wanted to keep that ball out wide, but it was just a little bit too wide for him. Árabe Unido already had a couple of opportunities, but it was Central FC on the first crucial one that they were able to get. It was Peltier that was able to latch onto it, make it 1-0. Now we're going to see how these younger players for Central FC start to act when they have things in their favor. Since the tournament started, they've had a great deal of struggles scoring goals. They've had a lot of problems creating offense. So again, that's why I was mentioning at the beginning of the broadcast that this could be something very important to turn their early season around from a goal scoring standpoint. As it's Ortiz. Barahona now more centralized, and the ball comes through. Offside is being called by referee Héctor Said Martinez. As you see the Panamanians, they found something when they're trying to go deep, and actually not necessarily deep, but they're just trying to go right behind, right there. Just by a half body. It was very close on the offside. But they found that the Central FC defense tends to stand a little flat, tends to not move very well in synchronicity, and that's where you can have a lot of danger coming your way. Nathaniel Garcia. As Central looking to secure the ball, trying to simplify things. Again, small pressuring, going out to Samson. Barahona right there. They want to get the ball back as quickly as possible, as deep as possible. Mission accomplished on that point. Herraldes, Barahona. Good job again by Tariq Sampson, who's had a couple of tough assignments so far in this match, and he's been able to come out with pretty much with flying colors out of those particular tasks that he's been assigned by Dale Saunders. Will Árabe Unido have the wherewithal to start finding the spaces and not lose their patience? The cross. Good play there by Sipersad. A little bit slippery, but still able to recover very solidly. Da Silva. And again, Árabe Unido losing the ball yet again. That's been the problem so far. Looking to go deep, sometimes getting a little too ahead of themselves, and at times losing their shape. As you see right there, that back line, you had three players. The spacing there wasn't well. That's why they weren't able to break open, as Nathaniel Garcia committing the foul. And everyone knew that this was going to be a very tough matchup, a very tough encounter. Da Silva going out wide. Here's another chance. This time it's Peltier looking to cross through. Oh, ball goes right under his leg, and so he was looking to cross. He was trying to hook back. Leg got cut underneath and ended up taking the ball away on his own. Again, it's part of, it was interesting speaking to Brent Sancho, saying, you know, with younger players, you can expect anything. You can expect something extremely brilliant or something that maybe not so brilliant. Here's Da Silva. Straight up in the air, not much really as far as harm on the Panamanian goal. 26 minutes. Still 1-0 for Central FC. Barahona. Again, Nelson being the fulcrum in the middle, being that metronome, and cleared out once again. That was none other than Keston George. Looking to settle things down. The rain looks like it's dissipated, or is it just me? I don't know. I'm just trying to be a little bit optimistic, I guess. Throw in coming in here from Ortiz. Barahona. Chance and rather dangerous, but well played by Stefan Sipersad. And the pressure up in the back, it's led to some dividends, but Árabe Unido has not been able to capitalize on it. A lot of work is being done by both Renan Adels and also by Carlos Small. As you see right there, very tricky that shot, because of course it skips on the wet grass, and if not played properly, you can't concede very easily a rebound. So that's why Sipersad did such a good job on it. As a free kick opportunity coming up for Deportivo Arabe Unido. Want to send a shout out to a good friend over in Panama City. Of course, he's watching, Mr. Pedro Vita. Brilliant football. A chance to shot from outside there. Was it deflected? Yes, it was. It's going to be a corner kick on the opposite side, or on the far side of the pitch for Árabe Unido. It's Barahona becoming a major protagonist for the visitors. as they now look to get that goal that can put them back in control. Barahona never hesitant to take a shot from outside, as many have been looking to see him return to the national team, but doesn't look very likely, and I'll mention in just a little while as to why. Angel Patrick. Ball deflected, it'll be a throw-in coming up. Valencia. Ortiz. Let's drop back, and again looking for that space, but very well defended by Tariq Sampson. Look at how many bodies are flying at that ball, and usually on the 50-50s that are being won by Central FC. They've been able to do it because of the hustle, because of also the amount of players that are going after those balls. So they've been flying around. There's been a good amount of work rate that's been applied as the referee, Hector Said Martinez, stops play. So no, you got to play from over here. Jadion Gabriel looking to buy some time. Here's Marcano battling there against Roberto Chen, a very experimented, very well experienced central defender. He'll probably be in the plans of Hernan Dario Gomez when Panama hosts Trinidad and Tobago. That'll be interesting to see, as that match will have a lot to do with Panama's hopes of qualifying, or at least getting a playoff spot for the 2018 World Cup. Ball just too far for, right there for Jules Lee. It's been an interesting ride so far as we get into the final 15 minutes of this first half, as there's only been one true clear play for Central FC, and that one ended up with the ball in the back of the net. For those of you who just tuned in, that was Johan Peltier scoring in the 20th minute of play. That's been the difference so far in this match, is Central FC holding their own. As here's a good chance, Marcano down the middle. Here's the opportunity, that shot that just keeps sailing. Was it deflected though? Looked like it was initially, but Peltier not really putting up much of a fight, so it'll be a goal kick coming up for Árabe Unido. This is Roberto Chen. Valencia. Speaking of many in the Panamanian press about the expectations for this Árabe Unido side, and many, and of course based on the start that they've had so far in this tournament, and this is where the similarities begin to find themselves between teams that cross paths in certain parts of the season. We mentioned that the only goal that's been scored prior to the goal by Peltier, and if you want to just talk about the domestic league, is a big mistake there by Barahona, but recovered quickly by Heraldes. Now Barahona, once again, nobody really converging on him, so he has lots of room to roam. Adles, back to Barahona. Dribbling around, too many bodies, and the ball gets deflected. It'll be a corner kick coming up for Árabe Unido. That's number 4 for the visitors. Yes, there's lots of bodies in the middle, but no one really going after him when you see Árabe Unido. You're going to see in the play right here. Look how much lack of space there is, but nobody really converging or committing to the ball, or committing to the person attacking with the ball until that ball's released. Punched away, straight up as Barahona. Ooh, almost wanted to get to it. He continues battling forward, and then the eventual ball that's recovered by Sean Da Silva. Good chance here. Counterattack, and a great recovery, as it was Ortiz being able to save what was a potential goal-scoring opportunity on the other end. Small starts it again. Just very ragtag from a tactical standpoint. The spacing's not the best. Again, another mistake. Looking to transition on the counterattack. Trying to keep things very calm as Nathaniel Garcia. That ball gets away from him, but he gets bailed out as the foul's committed. And that's where the big issue's been so far. A little bit too rushed on the play. You can see here, Garcia, oh, that first instance, the ball gets away from him just a little too much. But when Atlas comes over, mistimed on the challenge and commits the foul. Could have been a very dangerous opportunity in the opposite direction. Tariq Sampson. Barahona again loses the ball, recovered by Garcia. Sampson does the more simple thing and more effective at the same time. Gabriel. Just pushing forward, looking to see what they can do. Here's Marcano opening it out wide to Da Silva. Cutting back inside in laborious fashion, but still able to get to it. And again, it's Peltier again into the middle. Here's a good chance. Marcano, oh, the ball gets right past him. The chance, the shot from Da Silva as he followed the play and missing wide. And again, that's where Central FC, if they're able to organize themselves a little bit more and get better spacing in the middle and be able to make better decisions off the ball, you can start seeing the second goal come rather quickly. Again, the spacing there, that's what I'm talking about. The spacing by Marcano wasn't the best. He would have been able to open himself up a little bit more. He would have had a better angle to take a shot. Instead, very close and not able to react quick enough, as the foul being committed on the opposite end as well. That's been the major story. You haven't seen a lot of fluidity. You haven't seen a lot of clarity from either team. You have seen respective identities being developed, and that's been a major difference. As here's Marcano, shot from outside. Woo, that was rather close. Was it deflected? It looks like it was initially. Yes, it is. It's going to be a corner kick for Central. We get into the final 8 minutes of play. Look what Michael Jim Gordon does here. Says, okay, fine. And it's not. I mean, it's rather close, especially with the effect that the ball makes. Just that spin goes just wide. As Central have been able to find a bit more clearer path to goal. Lloyd. Looking to control here with Gonzalez. Barahona, no looking and a bit complicated, but still Árabe Unido controlling. 4 in the back for Central. 3 more accompanying in front. Here's Gonzalez looking for Barahona, but leaves it a little too short. The chance from outside. And not sure if it was a shot. He was trying to clear it out, but ends up being a throw-in for Central. As you hear Sergio Guzman, the Colombian coach, saying, come on, you have to do better than that. You have to push forward. You have to be able to reduce spaces a bit better. Gonzalez. Again, here's a chance for Atlas as he has to get it with his right foot. Trying to cross it into the middle. The chance to shot, the equalizer coming at the 39th minute. Carlos Small with the equalizer. There's a bit of a defensive mistake there. Makes it 1-1. See right there. Oh, mistimed the jump. As Kylian Gabriel sees that ball go right over him. Elementary defending there by Gabriel. And veteran scoring by Carlos Small. That's his first of the tournament. So at 39 officially. Carlos Small gets the away goal and a bit of confidence. It was probably one of the clearest opportunities. And when both teams start to find some clarity in front of goal, that's the chance for them. Again, coming through offside though. Wasn't even close, as right there Omar Velasquez giving the indication. Not as clear maybe. So 1-1 here at Hazley Crawford Stadium. Lee. Garcia. Open out wide. Michael Jim Gordon. Another offside. Marcano. Nice pass, just a little bit too heavy on the weight. That pass a little too heavy on the ball. There's Jason Marcano, of course, played with W Connection, also played with San Juan Jablote in previous seasons. Adels. Looking to bring it back. It's Barahona. Traffic for Árabe Unido has just had to go through Barahona on several occasions. And again, you start to see where those balls are being served, and the counterattacks could be extremely dangerous for this Central FC. Here's another chance and another cross and another failed opportunity and another chance, and it's Jason Marcano recovering in the middle of the run being made, but too far for Peltier to be able to get to it. Lloyd recovering. Very imprecise Árabe Unido. If you start to look at it from their perspective, a team that thrives when they need to have that ball well placed. Again, here's a chance that it goes right past Small. Looks like it was deflected en route to his right foot. The chance again from way out there. And you see right there, and what we didn't see in this replay is how that ball gets to Small, and that was more telling than the final product. Because of the way he's able to get it, it ends up killing off the opportunity. As we're in the final 2 minutes of this first half, plus whatever stoppage time Hector Said Martinez wants to add on. But overall, it's been breakdowns defensively that have been the major story, that have been the primary storyline to talk about. How this game will and should be analyzed will be more on the mistakes that were made than on the assertions that were created by certain players on the pitch. So we'll start to see what goes on here in the latter stages of this first half. At the most, probably about a minute that should be added by the referee. The ball goes again. Barahona lumbering through, surveying and going out wide. As again, it's Angel Patrick who's trying to join the attack more often. Barahona. And the ball has to go through him as it goes into the middle for Macea. Macea, the linchpin in the middle, the more stable player of those two defensive midfielders against the chance, the shot, and the shot. Again, another mistake, but bailed out there as it goes right to there's Nathaniel Garcia. Has had some trouble tonight. He has not been able to control. He has been a bit lost, at least in the mire, when it comes to how playing no stoppage time, actually a couple of seconds if you want to consider it that. But goals by Peltier and then the equalizer in the 39th minute by Carlos Small. So far, the goals that have been scored up to now in a match where the rain might have been a factor, but the imprecisions made themselves the talking point of choice for everyone. 1-1 here at the Hazley Crawford Stadium after 45 minutes. "45 minutes have left these stats right there, shots, it's a little bit tricky because most of what the shots that Árabe Unido took ended up mostly in the stands more than anything else. So that is a stat that kind of skews things a little bit more. It's been the precision from Central FC that's really caused some problems defensively for Árabe Unido. But yes, out of the 12 shots, there was one that did go into the back of the net, and that is very important for Árabe Unido after going down in the early stages of this first half.
Okay, let's go to highlights, please. Your highlights.
45 minutes have left, a lot of doubts defensively. That's one of them. We saw another one prior to that with none other than Johan Peltier being the beneficiary of a 1-0 scoreline early on for Central FC. A lot of times you saw Central chasing. You saw them looking for the ball. And that was a huge problem that needs to be rectified by the Central FC coaching staff.
And here come your highlights. We rewound them for you. Go ahead, you're hot.
45 minutes down, but a very telling 45 minutes it was for both teams. Árabe Unido were looking to be the protagonists. They wanted to be the more proactive side, but they had a lot of complications getting to goal. Yes, they had a team in front of them that had so many issues, but also were able to recover, and their battling mentality was what was key. You see right there how Árabe Unido was looking to make things happen, but right there, a defensive lapse on two ends. Number one, Ortiz not marking, but then also who keeps into account Johan Peltier, who all alone finds the ball in between two defenders. Right there, 1-0. That was interesting to say the least, because Árabe Unido weren't able to find that final touch in several sequences. Here, Nelson Barahona from outside, as an inspired Central FC at times, looked but rather disorganized in that attempt, and so disorganized at times that defensively it showed. Here, a mistimed jump by Kadian Gabriel leaves Carlos Small one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and experience showing itself as Árabe Unido able to equalize. But again, it was a very similar theme. Those shots, little rolling shots, shot that went to the into the stands, not enough.
Here are stats again. We're just going to put them in one more time.
As you see right there, the stats, 6 on target, but that's a skewed stat. You can also say the same for the 12 total shots for Árabe Unido, as they had a lot of problems getting into that final third, into that final 18. But of course, one of those 6 did go into the back of the net. Central FC have been inspired, but organized, or disorganized, I should say, in looking for that goal. But the one time they were able to get it all together, it absolutely looked beautiful.
Okay, you're
Second half about to begin here at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. 1-1 between Árabe Unido and Central FC. Both teams want to have a positive result for this match, as of course the return leg will be played next week. Of course, that will be over at the Maracanã in Panama City. That's where Árabe Unido play their home matches as Central begin the second half with possession. Really no changes, and they quickly give the ball away. Just to give you a quick reset, Central with Sipersad in goal, Gabriel, Samson, George, and John in the back. Michael Jim Gordon with Sean Da Silva and Johan, actually with Nathaniel Garcia in the middle. Peltier and Marcano up top as well. So pretty much what's become a 4-3-3, and it was expected it was going to morph into a 4-5-1, as Marcano's been the one that stayed up top consistently. Here's Barahona. Nice pass into space. Here's a good opportunity coming through. Slides past one. Here's a good chance into the middle, but very strong defending. As you saw right there, Carlos Small looking in the middle, looking for Jose Gonzalez. But again, what a great pass. That's what Nelson Barahona has been able to do throughout his career. Maybe just a little too far on the angle, and great recovery by Tariq John as he's able to prevent that ball from going through. Árabe Unido looking very strong in the early stages of the second half. Pushed in the middle, is it a foul? Yes, there is, or no, there isn't, or who knows what happened here, because the referee blows his whistle. Doesn't point to the spot, and now it is a penalty. I mean, there was clear contact on the play. And the only way you find out, the referee blows the whistle, yes. So apparently you knew that it was a penalty. You're going to see right here. It's coming through. Not the wisest thing done there by Kadian Gabriel. But then the referee doesn't point at the spot. He just blows the whistle and runs away. So you're kind of left in doubt. Of course, when the ball's put on the spot, you immediately knew what was going to happen, as it's going to be Jose Gonzalez. Pipa Gonzalez. We're going to take it to the right post. Hits it right at the goalkeeper. As soon as he opened himself up, he didn't have many other options. And he wasn't sure, you could tell with the shot and how he took it, that the ball really didn't have a true destination. He wasn't sure whether he was going to take it to the right, to the left. And with the lack of conviction, the lack of direction, an opportunity missed. Also give a lot of credit for Stefan Sipersad to stay his ground, to make sure he waits until the last minute. Because many other goalkeepers would have just said, okay, well, I'm going to just dive. He would dive in the wrong direction. But there he had enough presence to be able to knock that ball away. It's a corner kick coming up for Árabe Unido. Central FC just knocked that ball as far as possible. As up top was Peltier, was waiting for that ball, racing through, but it's right here, just not a lot of direction. It was right there. And also, there could have been an argument made with Sipersad. You're not going to see it in this angle, but he did jump off his line. Is on the other end, Miguel Lloyd smothering that ball. Ortiz. Da Silva. Marcano. Didn't get a lot of touches, but the few touches that Marcano got were very influential in the overall attack. And right there, I mean, not much of an option that he had, because even though his teammate was complaining, you saw the run that was being made by Michael Jem Gordon, but you couldn't really say much with the shot because Gordon was offside, and he just throws his arms up in the air. He should have seen where he was positioning wise, and he would have said something different. Here's Nelson Barahona again into space, full charge ahead, is Small looking to collect the ball. Got stuck between his legs, and finally when he was able to get it out, just swung the ball in, nobody there. Again, that's been the problem for both teams in that final third. Things get a little congested. You don't see that clarity. That's going to be one of the key words of this match. Clarity or lack thereof. As we're already 5 minutes into the second half, already a penalty kick that was missed. This is Nathaniel Garcia. Nathaniel Garcia was with the Trinidadian national team just a few weeks ago. Match where they played against Ecuador over in Guayaquil. He didn't get to play, but Sean Da Silva did. That 3-1 defeat for the Soca Warriors. Garcia again is being hounded in the middle as Macea commits the foul. A hard man for Árabe Unido in the middle of the pitch. The cross really lacking direction, just sending the ball anywhere. As it was Michael Jem Gordon. Two men in the middle for Árabe Unido. Again, establishing the two holding midfielders. But again, the ball gets taken away quickly. Here's Marcano. He's going to get to that ball quickly as he's marked by Roberto Chen. It's been an interesting matchup to look at. But while one was looking, the other one didn't know what was going on, and the 19-year-old Michael Jem Gordon just saying, my bad. Jem Gordon, of course, part of Trinidad's under-20 program until recently. Ortiz. Valencia. Marcano is able to recover it. Nathaniel Garcia weaving past two defenders, now looking for Marcano yet again. Looking to serve that ball through, and again recovered, cleared out by Ortiz. Amongst the chaos that was developed by that loose ball. Da Silva, nice move. Cross to the first post. Looking again for Da Silva, who's able to get it once again. Very settling player, Da Silva, and being able to add some poise to the middle of the pitch. Just like this man right here, Nelson Barahona. Looking for the run, no, onside. As it was Sampson looking to get something else. Barahona making a run. Looking inside, cleared away. Barahona is going to recover it. Waiting for some support as he's going to shield that ball away from the defender. Not much there, as trying to step his way out. Recovered nicely on the other end, and here comes Central FC, but that was quickly botched, and another chance comes through. Angel Patrick is able to create that corner kick as Justin George knocks it away. Another chance for Deportivo Arabe Unido. I think this is number 7 for the Panamanians. Again, going short is Barahona, looking to put it on target. As Gabriel again, man that committed the penalty. 3-4 players now for Árabe Unido warming up. Marcano, small recovery, but that was short-lived as the ball was taken away. Now looking for the counterattack, Marcano. Full speed ahead. Ortiz fielding it well. Patrick. Plays out wide for Árabe Unido as Central FC's backline shifts towards their left. Not much else that they could do, but a lot of options that are developing down that far side, but it should have been a lot quicker now that the home team has already recovered. Here's Marcano. Lots of room for him. He's been able to find the proper spaces to be able to get the ball and make the best decision with it. So far, that's been a tremendous asset for Central FC. Again, Marcano winning it. Marcano recovering, Marcano surveying. Marcano looking across, does that, comes through! It's Da Silva. And right there, talking to, from the goalkeeper to Angel Patrick. Da Silva. There's a flat pass, ends up becoming a goal kick for Árabe Unido. 57 minutes, still 1-1. There again, really like what Sean Da Silva's been able to do tonight. He's always been lurking. He's always found a way to find the space. See right there, Bill Saunders. In the shadows, you see Brent Sancho. Nathaniel Garcia on the reset here as Árabe Unido with all the intent to defend. Barahona, run being made in the middle. Here's a good chance. Again, pass it to the middle. The chance was there, but again, goes through and was it deflected? There's Atlas was able to at least get a decent shot, but it wasn't. Looks like it was deflected en route to goal. I'm not exactly sure. But Barahona being given, if you have a player with his qualities, and again, he's been a player throughout his career that has played in this sector of the pitch, has been very box to box. As both teams now running at each other. Da Silva, oh! Michael Jim Gordon just missed a wonderful opportunity, cuts into the middle, but you have Da Silva running all alone down the left. Didn't see that as Marcano. Also wondering what he was thinking. Ortiz. Small. You start looking at options on the bench, and it's telling or interesting to look at what is going to happen here. You have players like Carrasquero, like Gibson, Jesse Joseph as well. That could be vital options for Central FC. You also have players like Enrico Small. You bring him on. Panamanian international, has some experience in these types of situations. Who do you bring on? That's the big question mark. Ortiz being able to get to it is he as well as Heraldes connecting in the middle. Gonzalez back and forth, and again Da Silva being able to win it back. Gordon dropping back even further. No problems, want to be faced immediately. Or the problem averted. Well, we'll see as 2 balls on the pitch already, so we'll see what happens in this sequence that's coming up for Deportivo Arabe Unido as we get to the 60th minute of play. Substitution coming on. And it will be Enrico Small coming on for Renan Adles. And that's at 61. So you take out the bigger Adles, you bring in a smaller, more mobile player in Enrico Small. Small, who was part of Panama's Central American Cup team. For many in the Panamanian press, a huge disappointment, and as the ball goes just past Gonzalez, is able to recover it. 5 players dropping back, the chance, the shot that goes off of the chest of the defender. Another cross, another chance, another header that's cleared out. And opportunity, it's going to go in favor of Central as Nathaniel Garcia goes down. The 23-year-old, as he's been able to really gain a great deal of experience. If you talk to many, and that's the jewel, that's the player that many are looking at domestically within Trinidad and Tobago to be that future player to come through. Barahona, Small, in the back of the net, a devilish shot that hits the crossbar and just smacks right in. Árabe Unido take the lead, 2-1 at 62. Just wow. And again, Nelson Barahona right there. Defensive mistakes. When you give a player like Enrico Small that type of room, that's a mistake by Tariq Sampson. He lost his place on the pitch. He lost his reference point compared to where his assignment was. When you have a player like that, when you have a player that is able to move around and find himself in a better angle, you as a defender cannot lose your reference point. Now, I switch it to the opposite side. When you have a player like Enrico Small, you have to put him in a situation like that with a player like Nelson Barahona who can put you in a situation like that. And right there, that's one of the reasons why you have a player like Small, part of that World Cup pool. But yet the big doubt with him is, can he transform, or he can transfer that form that he has with Árabe Unido? Can he do it with the national team? And that still is left to be said. Here's Gonzalez again looking out wide. There's Sampson again playing in the middle. You start to see a lot of players scurrying around defensively, dropping back. Here's Gonzalez that had a better opportunity, looking for the heroic, incredible, nearly impossible shot from outside. And Sipersad watches. Now it'll be interesting to see what other substitutions will be made. I would start looking at Central FC to bring somebody else in. They've lost two things. They've lost defensive composure, and then they've also lost, save for Sean De Silva, you've lost a lot of containment in the middle of the pitch. And that's been a tremendous problem for Central FC in the second half, because when Árabe Unido, specifically when you see Brent Sancho right there as he's looking on right behind Stern John. Next time when Árabe Unido gets the ball, look at where, look at where Nelson Barahona is positioned, and look how much space he has to dribble up the pitch and how much time he has to make decisions. Then you start to see why this match is tilted so much in favor of the visiting side. It's Coach Saunders right there. De Silva looking for Marcano. Battling and swinging in. It'll be a goal kick coming up for Árabe Unido. And at top, Marcano, when he gets the ball in this sector, I'm not talking about in the middle third, I'm talking about in the final third, at times he gets a little too isolated because there's no one coming towards him. Nobody's looking to associate with him to create some type of plays in this sector. And it does help the Panamanian defense from that particular angle. Ortiz dropping back as Barahona camped out in the middle of the pitch. Now Ricardo Chen looking to get the ball. Very predictable right here. Look where Barahona is. Look how much time he has to get the ball. Look how much time he has to survey. Nobody really challenging him as Nathaniel Garcia stays back, and the pass ensuing. Small, Enrico. Recovered in the middle. Barahona. Man coming up from behind, chipping it through. Here's another well-anticipated opportunity. There's going to be a corner kick coming up for Árabe Unido. Again, you saw that play right there when Barahona had about 5-6 seconds to look, put his head up, find the best option, and attack in that direction. That's the sector on the pitch where Central FC have lost the most momentum in. And when you have that battle that's been so lopsided, especially at this stage in the match, that's when things start to fall apart a little bit. At times you see midfielders dropping back into the defensive line, that defensive back line, and that's when problems begin to emerge, not only in breaking out, but also in being able to contain a ball. Here's De Silva, not being able to get it, and it'll be a throw-in for Árabe Unido. That's the problem, when you have the chance to break out, but you don't have any outlets. You don't have any option to really break out from. That has been the issue with Central FC in this second half, especially when they lose the ball in Árabe Unido's half of the pitch. Barahona, who to me is starting to become the man of the match. Ortiz, back to Barahona. As soon as Barahona got involved, things started to change a little bit for Árabe Unido. Enrico Small looking for the run that was being made by Barahona on the wide side. Coming on the attack is Nathaniel Garcia. He had Marcano in the middle, but he had to battle with Macea. Excuse me, that was Heraldes, excuse me. It was Heraldes right there. Jostling and body checking each other up the pitch. Central looking deep again, and too deep and too far, and only player had pink jersey on, or I guess you call it fuchsia. Fuchsia. "69 minutes, and Árabe Unido up 2-1. A very favorable result for them, going back to Panama City for the return leg. Marcano. You see the replay right there. As this couple of final matches in this first match day of the 2017, the inaugural Scotiabank Concacaf League begins to come to a close. And we start to get a little bit more clarity as to which teams will face each other. Of course, the winner of this tie ends up facing the winner of Real Estelí and Águila. Of course, it was the Salvadorians that won that tie, at least the first leg of that tie, 1-0. It's just this match tonight and Liga Deportiva Alajuelense and Olimpia facing off over in Honduras. The return leg will be over in Alajuela next week. Here's Enrico Small. This will be a corner kick coming up for Árabe Unido. But they've been the ones that have been more aggressive. They've been the aggressors throughout this first half. I mean, even out of the chute, they were the more aggressive side. On paper, they knew they were the better side, and they had to try and prove it after a first side that seemed a little lackadaisical on their end. They go short once again. Another cross. A header, a bit weak, but still the attempt was there. This time it was Valencia, who's their leading goal scorer, believe it or not, for Árabe Unido. Coming on will be Josimar Gomez. If you start looking at it from a 4-4-2 perspective, you'd see a bit of a change as Enrico Small is dropped back, so it would become more of a traditional 4-2-3-1 for this side. Deep ball again as it's Michael Jem Gordon again coming through, but the defense standing tall as the threat was there. Coming through was Jules Lee, but Roberto Chen, the veteran, and mind you, I say that very loosely, the term veteran, because Ricardo Chen is 23 years old, but he's been a professional footballer for about 7 years now. Has been part of the Panamanian national team pool, has been able to earn 12 caps for Los Canaleros. So overall, as you see right there, the Central FC brain trust. And coming through, Chen being able to body his way in front. And there'll be a corner kick coming up, but a man still down. That's Jules Lee. That's still down. So as I mentioned, the winner of this time will face the winner of Águila and Real Estelí. That will be starting next month. And we'll see how that plays out. Looking to see how the foot is reacting to some stress. Looks like he will be okay, but Lee will have to step off. Hector Said Martinez saying, no, you got to get off quick. Let's go. Corner kick coming up for Árabe Unido. This is their second corner of the match for Central. Slapped away, I guess you could say, by Lloyd. Central looking to keep that ball in bounds, but not being able to do so. Sean Da Silva. Have to be very impressed with what he's able to offer as Josimar Gomez getting ready to come on. Let's see who he comes off for. Probably for Jose Gonzalez, because there was a lot of talk of either Gonzalez playing in the middle or it could be Heraldes. You could drop back or you can drop off a holding midfielder, bring in another attacking player. You really don't need that, especially with Barahona playing. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see who the substitution was for. That's Barahona with Ortiz by his side. Gomez was in the neighborhood, but looking to come through, trying to whip it onto target, but Sipersad standing right there tall. As it was for Gonzalez, the substitution. So that was the most logical based on the positioning. If a player like Josimar Gonzalez was coming on, the most logical substitution was to bring in or pick out right there, that man, Jose Gonzalez. Josimar Gomez gives a little bit more defensive presence, but also holds the ball and can move the ball very well, very quickly. But again, that defensive presence is what is the difference with Josimar Gomez. Chen, as we get into the final 15 minutes of this match, and Deportivo Arabe Unido with a 2-1 advantage on the road. Barahona, Gomez dashing down the line, but it's Carlos Small that wins the ball, as he and Enrico Small. Enrico further back, Barahona switching sides, going out wide over to Angel Patrick, driving through, but finally, again, down goes Jules Lee. He was down on the opposite side and had to get some treatment. And again, there's a substitution coming on. It'll be Ross Dowden coming on for Central FC. Again, cramping. Yeah, that's the case. So Dowden will come on. It'll most likely be for Jules Lee, as he's already cramping up again, so might as well take him out. And that's the substitution. So first of the match for Central FC. And that's at 78. Again, coming through. Dangerous header. It goes just wide. Roberto Chen looking to get on the score sheet. So Jules Lee has to come off. And you see right there, Gonzalez comes off and Josimar Gomez came on. That was a few minutes before. That was at 75. And here's a good opportunity coming as Peltier looking to take the shot. And again, you see right there the miscommunication. Instead of going out wide, that's about the third time that we've seen a Central player get a little bit wide-eyed when they're in front of goal, and instead of looking at the better option and laying it off to them, they decide to take the shot on goal or force something that really wasn't there. Lloyd. Gordon. Looking up, trying to drive it through. Still not in harm's way, and it'll be a foul. It'll be a handball there. That's called on Johan Peltier. Right there, just bounces straight up. Right there. '80th minute of play here at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. Both teams, again, as I mentioned before, will lock horns over at the Maracana. So it'll go from grass to artificial turf as Nathaniel Garcia has been very alone in the middle of the pitch. Barahona to Small. This time it's Carlos. Enrico on the other end. Carlos looking at least to cross it, see what he can do. Collects it. No one coming, just very stationary. Trying to drive through or trying to pass through two players. Tariq John has had his hands full so far tonight. Getting it out of there, but recovered quickly. It goes over to Barahona once again. Da Silva. Good work pinning Barahona down on the line. Here's Marcano looking for the equalizer, and now the drive starts as it goes over to Michael Jim Gordon, but Roberto Chen once again. Da Silva. Garcia. So without a foul, don't commit the foul. Cleared away as Barahona sees it go by him. Sampson. And a foul, great opportunity coming up here for the equalizer for Central FC. That's Angel Patrick that gets called for the infraction. It'll be Sean Da Silva. I don't know if there's anybody else that you want with the ball at this point in this type of situation. There, he wants the wall, he wants to hurry up things. So a dramatic moment here. Three-man wall. Let's see what Da Silva does. I think he has the leg to be able to put it on target. And if he does, it can be a very dangerous situation. That'll be Nathaniel Garcia who puts it on target. It'll be right at the hands of Miguel Lloyd. Thought it would have been better for Da Silva to take it instead of Nathaniel Garcia. Barahona. John winning that ball. Now it's Garcia. Da Silva. 82-23 and counting as Da Silva looking to serve it through, and Lloyd extends his long arms and snatches that ball down and plays it out wide. See again the free kick. Good pace on it, but it was right at the goalkeeper. Ortiz, and Valencia sends it out. Gains him a few meters in the process. Not sure what the referee's pointing at. As a substitution for Árabe Unido. That's their third and final. It'll be Gabriel Pino. Coming off is right there, none other than Carlos Small, the man that scored the equalizer. So Pino comes on. 84th minute. So Carlos Small comes off. That's the third and final. So that'll leave Enrico Small up top. Marcano. He's knocked down by Chen. He never looks happy when you see him on camera, but of course on that one I would totally understand why. There's another free kick opportunity off of the right foot of Sean Da Silva. off of the back of Chen. As Marcano swings and misses the chance. The shot, again, another deflection. Marcano trying to do an homage to Cristiano Ronaldo. One of the legendary goals of the Real Madrid superstar. That was the only recourse he truly had. As now the substitution will be that Kelvin Jeremiah coming on. And he replaces Kylian Gabriel. 86th minute. Kelvin Jeremiah, big guy. Put on in the path. That ball just screams right past as Nathaniel Garcia want to take a rip at it. Look at that movement on the ball. Just high at target. Oh man. That would have gone in. Let's just close shop, turn off the lights, go home. So momentum being gained here by Central FC. They're pushing forward with all their possible might and effort that they're putting into this. But still, again, they're not finding the necessary clarity to truly threaten Miguel Lloyd despite those efforts. Michael Jim Gordon. Barahona. Again, the spacing as Barahona wins it again. And to me, if you look at this result, the man that you have to look at as man of the match is Nelson Barahona, because there was a before and after to this match. Nathaniel Garcia brings him down. Things like that. Those are the little things. But there was a before and after. Central FC were playing much better. They were controlling much better. As the big guy up top, Jeremiah. When Barahona got involved and was getting more touches after that goal, you saw an Árabe Unido side that was very controlled, that he was able to pick off that Central FC defense. As Enrico Small sends it out into the track. Not sure exactly what he saw there. Surely it wasn't what we did. Deep ball again. One, but without committing a foul, is Roberto Chen. Again, gesticulating. As Árabe Unido at this point giving a lot of set piece chances in this sector. That's quite the worrisome situation. Now I'd start looking at Garcia. And it will be Garcia. Ooh, great play there. And almost the equalizer in the 89th minute. Just missed. Just missed. As Ross Dowden had a chance to put things level. Here, deflection. And it was Ortiz with his thigh, and a great reaction by Miguel Lloyd. As he got caught wrong-footed, but he was able to recover in time to be able to make the save. And the rebound goes just wide. And again, Nathaniel Garcia, so dangerous from out wide, from outside, from anywhere in that range. You see right there how the foul's being committed. Dowden throws his body. So Árabe Unido looking to hold on to this result, as they have been, at least they've been on a mission. And when you talk to the coaching staff, when you talk to the journalists in Panama that cover this team, what many do coincide in is that final that they lost against Tauro. It was a goal that was scored in the 91st minute, mind you. And the final that took place over at the Rommel Fernandez, so it was a heartbreaking result, as Árabe Unido was looking to get that title, and with a draw would have been enough. But Armando Polo broke a lot of Árabe Unido hearts on that afternoon. Many journalists look at this Árabe Unido side as very focused on being able to win the league title without any doubt. So far, their start in league play has given that indication. They've been able to win after the break. They've been able to win all three of their matches. They're only in second place on goal differential, Plaza Amador, with a +5 in the Panamanian League. That's been the difference so far, is Barahona. Pink cleats and all, dashing forward, looking to make it 3-1. Again, the pitch is deteriorated as the match has progressed, and you saw the footing by Gabriel Pino not being the best. Should be the final minute coming up. As I mentioned, Árabe Unido as well as Plaza Amador, two teams that represented Panama last year in the Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Both are the only teams, the only two teams in Panama to have won the first 3 matches of this new campaign. Meanwhile, Central having their issues, as Árabe Unido, of course, getting ready to take on, as they go back. They'll be playing Sporting San Miguelito at the weekend. Central FC, of course, they'll be looking to do their own thing, as Central FC, after the 1-1 draw against Club Sando, first time this campaign they've scored a goal. As I mentioned, it was Kadian Gabriel that scored that goal, the equalizer, or not the equalizer, the one that put them ahead 1-0. Of course, now on Monday, they will play against Police Force, and that is it. There is no more. A big win for Árabe Unido on the road, as goals by none other than the boys small. Both Enrico and Carlos scoring. But to me, the man of the match, that one right there, that man, number 90, Nelson Barahona. Sean Da Silva also, if you want to look at him from the man of the match perspective. The one for Central FC, as was Johan Peltier, the one that opened the scoring in the 20th minute. So your final score from the Hazley Crawford, it's Central FC 1, Árabe Unido 2.